Let me ask you something. When was the last time a PowerPoint changed your life? Never, right? But I bet you can remember a story someone told you years ago, a story that moved you, a story that made you feel something. That's what we're talking about today. The most powerful weapon in public speaking isn't data. It's not credentials. It's not logic. It's emotion. Imagine this with me for a sec. You're standing on a stage, 200 people in the audience, but you're not reading bullet points. You're not droning through quarterly metrics. Instead, you're telling them about Alicia. Alicia was a single mother working 2 jobs who used your company's product to finally start her own business. You described the moment she made her first sale, how her hands shook when she clicked confirm order, how she called her daughter and cried happy tears, how she texted you at midnight saying, "I can't believe this is real." And as you tell Alicia's story, you watch the audience. They've stopped checking their phones. A few people are leaning forward. One woman in the 3rd row has tears in her eyes. That's the power of emotional storytelling. You didn't just inform your audience, you transported them. You made them feel Alicia's struggle, her fear, her triumph. And here's what happens next. They remember, they care, they act. That's not just speaking, that's leadership. Now you might be thinking, that sounds great, but does emotion actually work in professional settings? Should executives really be telling emotional stories in the boardroom? Well, the science says absolutely. Dr. Paul Zak, a neuroeconomist at Claremont Graduate University, he spent years studying what happens in our brains when we hear stories. And what he discovered is fascinating. When you hear a compelling story, especially one with emotional content, your brain releases oxytocin. You probably already know this, but that's the same chemical released when you hug someone or kiss someone that you love. It's called the trust hormone. In other words, when you tell an emotional story, you're literally chemically bonding with your audience. You're triggering a neurological response that makes them trust you and remember what you said. And when that happens, people don't just hear your message, they feel it. They become a part of it. And this isn't some airy-fairy, touchy-feely nonsense. This is neuroscience. But here's where it gets even more powerful. Stanford University conducted research on memory and storytelling. And you want to know what they found? What actually sticks in people's minds after a presentation? Is it the findings? Is it the graphs, the data? You probably guessed it. It's the stories with emotional content. They're 22 times more likely to be remembered than facts alone. 22 times. Think about what that means for you as a speaker. You could deliver the most well-researched presentation in the world, packed with data, with charts, statistics. Or you could wrap that same information in an emotional story. The story will be remembered 22 times more effectively. And I see this play out in real time with my clients at Atlanta Public Speaking. We work with executives, with entrepreneurs, professionals from all industries. And they come to us a lot of times with PowerPoints full of numbers and graphs, all these words. And we teach them to lead with stories. And what happens? Their messages land harder. Their audiences engage deeper. Their careers oftentimes accelerate faster because people forget data, but they never forget how you made them feel. Now, if you're an executive watching this, you might be wondering, is storytelling appropriate for C-suite communication? Should I really be getting emotional in front of my board? And here's my answer. The best leaders I've ever worked with understand that emotion is not weakness, it's connection. When you're pitching to investors, you're not just selling a business plan, you're selling a vision, and vision requires emotion. When you're presenting to clients, you're not just offering a service, you're offering transformation. And transformation is deeply emotional. When you're addressing your team during challenging times, they don't need more data about market conditions. They need to feel your conviction, your confidence, your belief that you'll navigate this, whatever this is, together. I worked with a CEO last year. I'll call him David. He was preparing to deliver quarterly results to his company. The numbers were not looking good. They missed targets, morale was low. David's first draft was all corporate speak. Explanations, rationalizations, promises to optimize synergies and leverage core confidence, core competence. You know the language. And I asked him, I said, what do you really want to say to your team? He paused. Then he told me about his grandfather, who ran a family business through the recession of the 1980s. He told me about watching his grandfather lose sleep, make impossible decisions, but never lose faith in his people. That's your opening, I told him. That's it. So fast forward, David got on stage and he told that story. He opened his talk that way. And he talked about his grandfather's weathered hands, the late nights at the kitchen table, reviewing finances, wondering if they're going to make it or not. The morning his grandfather gathered a team and said, "No, we're going to make it. But I need you with me." Then David looked at his team and he said, "I'm asking you the same thing my grandfather asked his team. I need you with me. But we're gonna make it." The room erupted in applause. People came up afterwards and said, "This was the most honest and inspiring leadership that I've seen in a long time." Now that's executive impact. David didn't just report numbers. He built trust. He created connection. He rallied his people. And it all started with an emotional story. So how do you actually do this? How do you bring emotion into your speaking without being manipulative or inauthentic? Well, first, you find real stories. Find something that's real to you, not hypotheticals. I'm talking real people, real situations, real outcomes. Authenticity is everything in public speaking. Second, show vulnerability. It's so important that we don't put on a facade, a corporate facade, and we try to act like we're always in control. The most powerful emotional stories often involve struggle, failure, or fear. Don't just tell success stories. Tell redemption stories. Tell comeback stories. Those are the ones that move people. Third, use sensory details. So remember, how did it make you feel? What did you see? What did you hear? Don't say, "She was nervous." Say, "Her hands trembled as she gripped the podium." Help your audience see it, feel it, live it. Fourth, connect emotion to outcome. emotion, we're going to link that to the outcome. This part is so critical right here. Every emotional story should have a purpose. What do you want your audience to feel? And more importantly, what do you want them to do with that feeling? And here's what not to do. Don't fake it. Audiences can smell manufactured emotion from a mile away. If you're gonna tell an emotional story, it has to matter to you. It has to be real. Now, I know some of you are thinking, I'm not comfortable being emotional in front of people. I get it. It feels vulnerable. It feels risky. But here's the truth. Vulnerability is strength. When you share emotion, you give your audience permission to feel. And when people feel, they connect. When they connect, they trust. And when they trust, they follow. That's leadership. Look, here's the bottom line. You can be the most knowledgeable person in your industry. You can have the best data, the most impressive credentials, the strongest argument. But if you can't make people feel something, you're just making noise. The speakers who change the world, the ones who inspire movements, build companies, transform industries, they all understand one thing. People don't remember what you say. They remember how you made them feel. Martin Luther King didn't move a nation with statistics. Steve Jobs didn't revolutionize technology with pie charts. Oprah didn't build an empire with bullet points. They told stories. They created emotion. They made people feel something. So here's my question for you. What story are you going to tell? What emotion are you going to create? What are you going to make your audience feel? Because when you master the power of emotional storytelling, you don't just become a better speaker. You become unforgettable. If you want to learn how to craft powerful stories that move audiences and drive results, that's exactly what we teach at Atlanta Public Speaking. We work with executives, entrepreneurs, and professionals who are tired of being forgettable, who are ready to lead with emotion, authenticity, and impact. Click the link below to learn more about our programs. Let's make you unforgettable. I'm Ariel Ginga, and I'll see you on stage.